Let's do a quick video on how to set your content directory. Now, how lightwave works is that the objects, the things that are going to be in your scene, need to be inside a folder called objects. Okay, and the scenes you create, which is where you place your cameras, your lights, you do your animation, you bring your objects all together, that needs to be in a folder called scenes. Now, above those two, i.e. both of those folders are inside another folder, and that is basically your content directory folder. Also, you'll find it'll be, if you're using any things like textures and things like that, you need an images folder for textures. So you end up with an images folder, an objects folder, and a scenes folder, and they're actually named that as well. You can't call them Bill, Barney, and Fred. It won't sort of work. So you need an objects, scenes, and images minimum to run lightwave, and then you have your content directory can be called anything. You just need to point lightwave to it, and then when you go and open an object in Modeler, it will then look inside the objects folder. If you're trying to load a scene up in layout, which we're in at the moment, then it will look inside the scenes folder. If you need any images to texture your objects, they should be stored in the images folder. Simple as that. It just helps lightwave, and it helps you too, because you can move your content directory anywhere. It can be on a thumb drive, on different hard drives. You can quickly, easily move it around. Even zip it up and email it to the people to then go and open up again. Okay, so with that, let's go and set our content directory. So currently, let's go and clear the scene. So File, Clear Scene, and we'll say Clear. Okay, and if we go and look at the moment, go File, Load Scene, we'll see that currently our content directory, if we ever get to open up, is in lightwave _ content2 on my Freecom USB hard drive. Okay, so that's where it currently is, and it's currently looking straight inside the scenes folder, which sort of makes sense. It's sort of what I just said actually happened. Yeah. So let's go and find another content directory and open up a different scene. So with that, let's go and close that down. Anytime now would be great. There we go. And press O for options, and the options panel has jumped off the screen. So under options in here, depending on which version of lightwave you got, you'll find it anyway. It'll say something. It'll look something like that if you've got a different version of lightwave, and you're going to say, well, currently my content directory is my G drive lightwave blah 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 blah. So no, I want to go and find somewhere else. So click on the content directory. You can then go and browse your hard drive. So I'm going to say it's in my Freecom drive. When it decides to open it up, be very nice. There we go. Please open up. There you go. Come on. It's obviously not happy because it's trying to write to the hard drive. Let me just pause it for a sec. Okay, so you just wanted a bit of a refresh. So what we need to do now is go and find where it should be. So I'm going to say it's my desktop August 2008. Okay, and inside there, I've got a folder called Classic, which is the classic content from Lightwave. So I'm going to click on that and say that's where it's going to be. You'll now see that inside this folder in here, actually you won't because it's tiny, but I'll tell you, it says Classic here. Inside that I've got an images folder, an objects folder, and a scenes folder. And inside those I've got images, objects, and scenes. Does that make sense? So, but the thing you need to select is your folder where all these items are inside. Okay, so it's got Classic selected, and hit OK. Right, I can now close that down, as in the options panel, and then go to File, Load Scene, and I'll look straight inside my scenes folder, and you'll see that I've got a space folder, and I've got a CAMPOOL 1, CAMPOOL 2, and CAMPOOL 3. So let's go and click on CAMPOOL number 3. That's the most recent one. The other thing I would say would be a good idea is when you're creating scenes and you're making incremental saves, you better not be just saving over the same file over and over again in the vain hope that that file never ever gets corrupted, because if it does, you've lost everything. So I do incremental saves, whatever it is called, and then 001, 002, 003, blah blah blah. So when I'm trying to find my latest one, it's the highest number. And the reason I put 003 in, that gives me 999 numbers straight away, yeah, which I think is probably going to cover most projects. You shouldn't really have 999 versions of a project for a single scene. Maybe you will, don't know. Anyway, so let's go and open that up. So what's going to do now, it now looks at the scenes folder, finds that current scene, Yeah, it then goes off to the objects folder, finds all the objects, and then goes to the images folder and finds any images that it needs for those objects to go and drop into the scene. And there we have it. So here we go. So there we go. Now we've got this holding center scene up and running. Isn't that fab? Yes, it is. And there you go. And that basically, children, is it. Let me just go and pause it and think what else we can do in here. I'll come back in a sec. Okay, so let's go and open a different scene up, because this one hasn't got. This is just the basic model. Let's go and merge in the other scene. So let's go File, Load Scene. Let's go into the space scene. Most my blade edit. So this is this scene mixed in with the blade scene. And I've deleted some objects as well. And let me just hit pause on this for a minute. It'll come in quicker. Okay, and we're back now. So what we've got now is I've basically taken the atmospherics from the blade scene, yeah, and put it into this scene, because it sort of all sort of works, doesn't it? And yeah, that's pretty cool. So on 557. Next up, if you're going to do some animatics, so I've got this little thing here that is running from -50, yeah, to 500. Now I found that this start point, everything looked pretty cool. I just wanted an extra few frames at the beginning, so I've got it down to -50. All you do is type in on the left hand side how many frames you want it to be, so you can start at frame 100 or whatever. I'm saying -50 to 500, so I've got 550 frames. Anyway. To do a quick render out as a test, you've got two ways of doing quick rendering. Let's go with version 1. Version 1, if you go to rendering and you go to render globals, you get a massive render globals thing up. For a start, we're in 9, so this will look a bit different, but you'll basically have this drop down here. So you'll have a render tab. You say, do you want to use ray trace shadows, blah blah blah. You know what? Want to do it really quickly. I just want to see the movement, knock out as a quick animation, so I'm going to change it from realistic to quick shade. Okay, and then if I then go to my output here and I say I want to save an animation out, it's going to be really unhappy at the minute. I'm going to call this what's called whatever, and it's a .mov, so I'm saving a movie file out. There we go. Hit save. So it's a save animation. It's called .mov. The type of animation is going to change that to QuickTime Movie. That would make sense if it decides to do that. Oh, look, it's decided to go and drop it down. How exciting you are. Actually, don't do any of that. It wants to be a QuickTime Movie. And then my options, we've got a very slow frame rate on this because we're trying to record and open up other applications inside that. I want to drop mine down to MPEG 4, and we'll say, yeah, leave it full everything, thanks. Okay, and the other thing I want to go and do is my camera, so let's go and close that down. My camera that I've got at the moment, let's go to properties of camera. Let's change this to 640 by 480, and the multiplier is going to be 50%. The anti-aliasing is going to be none, and that'll do me, and no adaptive sampling. So I'm trying to make it as fast as possible, and then go and hit render on that, which is F10. Don't hit F10 on this, it's going to go and pause my recording, but F10 will knock out a quick render. That's one way of doing fast rendering. It will not have shadows on it, but it will render really quickly. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. Let me show you another way. We'll do it now, can't we? The other way of doing it would be to make a preview. Now, we're not going to go and make a preview with this recording, because it's going to be like not a good idea, but I'll show you where to do it. So preview, make preview, and I can say from when to when, blah 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 blah, and hit go, and off it will go, and hit escape to stop it. Right, but the other thing you need to go and do under preview is, you can't quite see this, but it says make preview options. Let's go to preview options, and what we're going to do is we're going to say QuickTime, yes, is the way we're going to go and record it. We're going to go and choose a codec, and the codec we're going to go and use is, well, you know what, it's going to be MPEG 4 again, and we're going to leave it at that. Okay, and hit OK. So what we can do now is do a quick preview. Let's go and hit pause for a moment. Hang on a sec. I'm going to do a preview. Okay, so what I've done, I've gone and made a preview, and the preview I've chosen is from -50 to 150. And what we've got now, we've got preview controls here. We can slide it backwards and slide it forward. So what it's done is basically grabbing a frame, a viewport image every frame, and then making a quick live video of that. So I can then scrub it backwards and forwards. I'm not now relying on my video card. It looks like we're looking at the viewport, and we're actually not. We're looking at a video that's placed in the viewport. Okay, so that's pretty cool. And that's sort of that. And then we can end the preview, and then we can go and preview and say save preview, and we can call that then whatever, and that will do that, and then we'll have a movie file. So let me just go and do that. Let's see you in a minute.